I'm building a budget turbo kit for my 4.6 liter 2-valve Mustang with the goal of moving from 9.5 to 7.5 in the 8th mile. And I'm doing it by fabricating all of it myself using cheap, off-the-shelf parts. This process can be applied to most vehicles, so follow along if you have a project that needs a cheap turbo. Before this turbo kit, this car had a best of 8.9 in the 8th mile, which actually isn't bad for an old 4.6, but it's nowhere near my goal of racing in the 7.5 bracket. My goal is to potentially double the power this car makes. Let's go over the main parts of this project. There are a few steps we have to take to prepare this car for a turbo. Last year, I equipped this car with a tubular front subframe to allow more clearance for this turbo kit. I'll include the prices I paid for most of these items, but keep in mind, some of these parts I found to use, which decreased the price significantly. The first step is to upgrade our fuel system. The stock fuel system just isn't capable of handling the power levels we're shooting for. We'll install this 340 liter per hour fuel pump and these 60-pound injectors to keep up. The next step is to start fabricating the hot side or the exhaust side for our turbo. This will connect the two exhaust manifolds to the front of the car where we'll place our turbo in the conveniently open space in the front bumper. Welding the hot side myself is going to save me thousands of dollars and can be done with fairly cheap equipment that pays for itself quickly. My TIG welding setup was around $400 to $500 all in, and I use it every day without fail. While there are several budget turbo options to pick from online, it's important to research what turbo size and AR ratio fits your application best. I'll be going with the common GT3582 Turbo that you can find almost anywhere. I'll be using the smaller turbo for mock-up purposes since I have it laying around and it has the same exhaust flange, but I'm not going to use it on the car. The third step is to mount the intercooler and run the cold side piping, which will direct air from the turbo into the intake. We also need to upgrade the mass airflow sensor. From there we have to tackle several small issues like parts clearance, oil feed, and eventually tuning, but I won't get there in this video. Here are some of the other expenses I encountered during the build. With our fuel upgrades already installed, let's move on to the hot side. The first issue I encountered was this exhaust manifold. The pipe coming out of it is only 2¼ inches. However, the exhaust piping I'm using is 2.5 inch 304 stainless. The weld I had to make for this connection took a very long time and it was pretty difficult due to the large gap between the pipes. I made this Y pipe for a different car, but I didn't end up using it. I found that it ended up fitting quite well under this manifold downpipe, and I oriented it so that one opening is facing the rear of the car to connect to the other exhaust manifold, and that one's facing the front where the turbo will go. The next section I made was this up pipe to the turbo. Last year I installed this UPR Products Tubular K-Member as well as a coilover kit. This freed up a ton of room and made this part of the process a lot easier. I used two 90-degree segments to turn the pipe up and forwards through the K-Member. Then I brought the pipe forward where I tacked on a V-band clamp. V-band clamps are simple two-phase connections that can be quickly disconnected and provide easy access for pipes that may be removed often. Due to the limited space between the pipe and the oil filter, an oil filter relocation kit was required, which can easily be found online. The other side of the engine must also be connected to the hot side. Thankfully, most of this section is straight pipe. Coming down to the passenger side of the car, the piping connects to the other exhaust flange and comes down to the bottom of the car. Now we can route the piping around the transmission and to the Y pipe we previously made. I made sure to keep the O2 sensor bung from the original exhaust flange so we can keep the factory upstream O2 sensors. The Wideband O2 sensor will be placed on the exhaust side of the turbo. This brings us to the most important part of the hot side, the turbo inlet. While this part might not be the hardest to create, it is the most visible from the outside and must be tucked up pretty well. It also is in very close proximity to several wires and lines, which will need to be protected. The design of this section is pretty straightforward. Coming from the V-band, this slight angle allows the pipe to clear the radiator support. Now we can add a bend and weld on the T3 flange where the turbo will connect. I also added these supports on the back of the flange to support the weight of the turbo. The last part of the hot side is very simple. Using another V-band, the piping bends and comes right out the bumper. I also included this O2 sensor bung on the top for our Wideband O2 sensor and AFR gauge. This is going to be very loud, but this was the easiest method. That concludes the hot side piping for the turbo kit. Now we have to run the cold side piping and mount the intercooler. The first step of this process was to mount the intercooler, which cools the hot air coming out of the turbo. This is pretty easy on this car since the crash bar is placed pretty well. I simply cut two pieces of metal into thin strips and drilled holes through the intercooler mount and the crash bar. I spray painted the small metal strips to protect them from rusting. The cable ties will temporarily hold the intercooler until I get hardware. Now that the intercooler is mounted, we can run the intake piping. The angle of the turbo is slightly offset, so we'll use a bend to compensate for it. The other side is slightly more challenging. Using a 90-degree bend, the piping can travel back and up into the fender where it meets a 45-degree bend, which connects to the intake. Since we had to cut some of the piping to fit, we had to purchase a pipe beater so we can replace these sections. You'll notice this weird section of the reducers. These connect to our new map sensor, which I found for fairly cheap on Facebook. The hot and cold side of the turbo kit is done. Unfortunately, that's all I had time for this video, so join me in the future where I'll show you how to run turbo oil feed and drain lines, as well as tapping an oil pan from the outside. And then, we'll get the car running and start tuning.